mynews.studio.
When we look at redwood trees today, there's a shift happening. They used to stand silently over lands that were taken from their original caretakers. Now, Indigenous voices are helping to decide what happens next. The real question is the country ready to embrace a new approach to conservation?
Today's date is January 29th, 2026. There's a significant transition underway in how national parks are managed across the United States. For over 100 years, the dominant model, sometimes called fortress conservation, meant Indigenous communities were kept off lands they'd cared for over generations. Now, that's changing. Indigenous groups are forming official co-stewardship agreements with federal agencies. But why did it take so long? And what do these changes actually look like on the ground?
It's a combination of shifts, both in mindset and in practice. For the first time, national parks are being managed not just to keep people out, but to involve them, especially those with ancestral connections. For example, the Yurok tribe at Redwood National Park. In March 2024, they regained control of the O-Red property, which is about 125 acres. Now, they manage it as a southern entrance to the park. But this wasn't just a gesture. It means the Yurok can protect sacred sites and reintroduce traditional ecological methods. And the outcome? Scientists are seeing more biodiversity in those redwood forests.
Can you break down what kinds of practices you mean? How does Indigenous stewardship look different from what park staff were already doing?
Sure. Traditional methods include things like controlled burning, selective harvesting, and restoring native plants. These aren't new techniques, but they've been largely set aside for decades. Take controlled burns. Indigenous communities have used them for centuries to reduce wildfire risk and support certain plants. When these approaches came back, researchers noticed greater diversity and stronger ecosystems.
So it's not just about honoring heritage. There are real ecological results. Another case is Craters of the Moon National Monument, right?
Exactly. The Shoshone-Bannock tribes have set up interpretive trails there. These trails go beyond geology. They bring in Indigenous history and viewpoints. It's a way to teach visitors about protecting the environment while making Indigenous presence visible. That visibility is important for both cultural reasons and conservation.
Who's making this happen inside the federal system? There must be some key people driving it.
Yes. Chuck Sams is the first Indigenous director of the National Park Service. He's been a strong advocate for real partnerships, not just conversations. Deb Haaland, as Secretary of the Interior, has made tribal involvement in land management a priority. Because of their leadership, there are now over 250 co-stewardship agreements.
That's a big jump. But what's standing in the way? Is it just about political will, or are there other obstacles?
It's both. Funding is a major challenge. Not every park has the support needed for co-stewardship. There's also political resistance. Some see these changes as giving up control. But Indigenous groups and supporters are responding with targeted grants and advocacy. For example, the National Park Foundation has provided funding for tribal workshops and planning at places like Voyageurs National Park.
And on the legal side, are there frameworks that make these partnerships possible?
Treaties and legal agreements are key. At Shenandoah National Park, for instance, the Shenandoah National Park Trust's Indigenous Initiative works within existing legal structures to keep partnerships ongoing. So these aren't just good ideas. They're backed by binding agreements.
This isn't just a U.S. story, is it? Could this approach work for conservation efforts in other countries?
Definitely. Many countries are looking at how to decolonize conservation. Bringing Indigenous knowledge into land management could help resolve disputes, restore biodiversity, and create more inclusive strategies worldwide. If the U.S. model is successful, it could inspire similar efforts elsewhere.
So in a sense, the U.S. is showing how conservation and social justice can be connected.
Yes. By recognizing Indigenous rights and leadership, these partnerships are not only addressing past wrongs, they're also making public lands healthier and more resilient moving forward.
Today, we've looked at how Indigenous stewardship is transforming national parks, highlighted some major successes, and explored the ongoing challenges.
From ancient fire practices to new legal agreements, it's a story that blends reconciliation with innovation.
Thanks for joining us as we explored this moment of change in conservation.
Thank you for listening. This episode was powered by mynews.studio.